Hey, this is Tony here with Salt Strong. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the Z-Man Scented ShrimpZ. Now, these are another type of shrimp made by Z-Man. I did a review on the Z-Man Easy Shrimp, and just so you don't confuse the two, I'm going to show you the difference here really quick with these two. The Z-Man Easy Shrimp comes in a packaging where each shrimp is actually, it has its own little spot inside of this plastic packaging. And the scented shrimps, they just come in a bag with a 5-pack. So they're just in there in a bag, loose and free, just like any other type of soft plastic. Also with the Z-Man Scented shrimps, they are pre-scented. And the Easy Shrimp is not scented. The scented shrimps have ProCure gel inside of the packaging. So if you do plan to use any type of these Z-Man products that have that ProCure inside the packaging, you might want to do yourself a favor and get yourself a little bottle of ProCure. That way over time, as you're using these, you can apply a little bit more ProCure on them as it wears off, or you can add a little bit more into the packaging. So as far as the pros and cons of these Z-Man Scented ShrimpZ, as far as what I like about them, first off is that stretchy elastic material that is very durable, especially if you're fishing in an area with a lot of pinfish or snapper or anything like that that like to peck at the baits. It's not going to tear it up because it stretches, goes right back to normal. So that's one thing I do like about these. Also the fact that they are scented. It definitely helps if you're fishing for redfish or black drum or any of those scent type of feeders that like smelly stuff in the water. So if you normally fish for something using dead shrimp, using a scented shrimp by Z-Man will definitely do the job. And now the last thing that I really like about these is the fact that they are naturally buoyant. Just like all the other Z-Man products that are made out of that Elastec material, they are naturally buoyant, so you can really control how fast they sink depending on how much weight you add to it. So if you are fishing in an area where the fish are very skittish, they don't want something moving very fast or very quick, you could just put a bare hook on there, or you can put a hook with a 1/16 ounce weight or a 1/8 ounce weight, and it'll slowly sink down to the bottom. So it won't sink very fast and it won't scare those fish. So that's definitely a plus when using these baits that are buoyant. And now moving on to the cons, or what I don't like about them, you don't want to mix them with any other soft plastics or leave them out in the heat, as with just about any other type of soft plastic material, because it will melt and it will react with other soft plastics. So definitely make sure you keep them in their own separate bag and don't mix them with other soft plastics. Also, as far as rigging goes, the head of the shrimp is very narrow and pointed, so they're pretty difficult to rig on a spring lock hook like this. But what I do recommend, if you are rigging these up on a spring lock hook, if you notice on the front of the lure or the head of the lure, it has these two antennae on each side. Just move those out of the way so you can see here. But it has those two antennae, and then on the very top of the head, it has this little, I'm not even sure what that is, but it's there. So what I like to do is actually rip that part off. Just pop it off like so. And then take your spring lock hook. And as I've shown you with some other Z-Man products how I do this, you want to push that spring lock onto the bait and then pinch it there. So push the lure all the way up onto the spring, hold it there and pinch it, and then just turn the entire hook, and that will turn the spring as you're pinching the lure, and that should get that spring on there. As you can see, the spring's on there nice and good. And then just bury the hook. The bottom of the lure has a little slot in there, so you can hide the hook a little bit, but just point the hook through there, out the top of the body, and then to make it weedless, just barely skin hook the point of the hook. As you can see, it's rigged weedless on that spring lock weighted hook, so it'll have a nice slow fall as it hits the water. Now, one last rigging tip I want to show you guys, and I know a lot of you guys say that shrimp swim backwards. Well, they do, but they only do when they are fleeing from a predator. They snap their tail and then they go in a backwards motion, but naturally they swim forwards if they're just cruising around. So if you want the shrimp to swim backwards, just pop the tail off. Rip that tail off. You can either cut it or rip it off like so. No more tail. And then you can use the spring lock hook again. And what I like to do is create a little pilot hole with the point of the hook just to get a little guide going for that spring. And then again, I will push that shrimp all the way up onto the hook, up onto the spring, so the plastic is almost up to the eye of the hook, and then just start spinning the entire hook while pinching the plastic on the spring. And as you can see there, it is on the spring. Got one extra turn just to get it even. Pop that hook through. And now you have a backwards swimming shrimp. So that's just another way you can rig these if you prefer that shrimp to have that backwards motion. Now to me, if a shrimp is swimming backwards or forwards, I don't think it really matters that much to a fish. If the fish is hungry and there's something there that looks like food, it's gonna go after it. So what's more important is actually being in the right spot at the right time and just being in an area that has active feeding fish. So you could probably rig one of these up on a circle hook, and if you have a fish sitting in front of you that's hungry, you pitch this out in front of that fish, I guarantee you that fish will eat it. So if you need help mastering the trends and really figuring out the patterns and putting yourself into areas where fish are going to be feeding and you're going to have a productive day, definitely check out our Salt Strong Fishing Club at saltstrongclub.com. So thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Also, if you have any experience using these Z-Man Scented Shrimps and you want to share that, please leave a comment down below. Until then, I'll see you on the next video.
Looking back, I was 8 years old, out on the dock with my old zip code, catching them fish till